So, Fiji. We're gonna look exactly how those people live and the population, the numbers, and the economy. But look at this, such a small island, and they say in paradise. So we're gonna see exactly if it's a paradise for everybody or just for a few of them. But we're gonna start with population. Now, Fiji, under 1 million people. There was slightly a dip in population, but now they kind of back up. But overall, you can see the growing rate is over on the decline side. 1955, 350,000 people, so not that much, but a growing rate about 2.5%. That would be like 8,000 people. Migration still on minus. Look at this. I think for the entire history, you can see here, they have migration on minus. So clearly things are not exactly going well there. Median age back then 16 years old, and one of those nonsense 6.6 fertility rate. Urban population 25%. Now fast forward to 2025, just under 1 million people, so a huge increase in population, almost 3 times, with a 0.5% growing rate. That would be like 4,000 people per year. Migration still on the minus. Median age around 20 years old. Fertility rate now more manageable, but still I guess a bit too much, 2.25 for them, and 60% living in an urban area. Fast forward to the future, you're gonna see in 2050 they're gonna reach 1 million people with a 0.1% growing rate, and that would be like 1,000 people per year. And migration still on the minus, so people still choosing to live in the country, looking for the maybe better opportunities. We'll see. Median age around 33 years old. Now fertility rate got below replacement at 1.93, but we're gonna see exactly how they're gonna manage that. Probably they're never gonna reach more than 1 million people, but who knows, it depends how things are going in the future. But 1 million people on such a tiny island, yeah, it could be some trouble, I would say, but we'll see how things are going there. Now life expectancy there, I would say pretty good actually. 67 years old for both sexes, 70 for females, 65 for males. I would say for a male 65 is pretty much the sweet spot to die. You don't want to live too much beyond that, but just my opinion. Infant mortality rate 15.8 and death under age of 5 19.9. So the medical system pretty much, I would say, inexistent, judging by those two metrics. Now the pyramid, you can see the demographics have some solid base, some male surplus. Fiji, I think so far, like I say, it looks like it's one of those touristy country, and probably they're gonna have people working from outside for cheap labor, and from whatever reason the native population choose to leave the country, so it's going to be interesting to see. But clearly it's a huge male surplus. I believe it's from migrants maybe that come there and work. Depends how those numbers are calculated. We see that in other countries, but clearly some male surplus 100%. Now the economics. Look at this. GDP 5.5 billion US dollars, and PPP nominal, and PPP around 10 billion US dollars per capita. Watch this. $6,000, which is pretty much nothing, and $12,000 PPP, which is, yeah, and inflation 4.5, huge one. Yeah, I can see some trouble right there. So clearly actually a poor country. I expect it to be a very rich one, but no, it's not. Even I thought it's gonna be more rich than Maldives, but not even close. So that's interesting. Well, corruption index, we're gonna see if Fiji is right here. Let's look exactly where they score. So 55. Still corrupt country. They got up 3 positions, but still not in a blue, let's call it like that, in a blue line, but it is at least less corrupt than others. So yeah, it's on the good way, but still I would say that still a corrupt country. Well, what I can say about their history. So Fiji, judging to this table at least, it was a British colony, but they wasn't exactly colonized too long ago. So they say, by this chart, they say around 1865, around that they got the colonies there. So they should be, again, the British colony should be always good, but judging by the GDP, they don't do that well. They got independence, so they got that I think in 1970s, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they got around 1970s some sort of autonomy, independence, whatever, and clearly they don't manage that well. So now we're gonna see exactly how those people live. Look at this, just in the middle of the ocean almost, on such a small island. and it's supposed to be paradise. So, well, we will see exactly about that, how those people actually live there. Now, from outside, you will see, like, you Google Fiji, just only nice beaches and stuff like that, but how actually those people live. So far, this is from 2017, so already pretty old, but probably is one of those tourist resorts, which seems to look pretty good, pretty well maintained. Now we are on this very remote island, so I don't expect to see that many 360s or how those people actually, but you can see we have here one. Why I think like in this region so far, even in Papua New Guinea, people seems to live like in those container houses. This is how it looks to me. Yeah, again, it's gonna be a poor country judging by the GDP at least, but we have to wait to see exactly, because in Papua New Guinea we saw some pretty nice things, especially in my opinion, and that GDP kind of doesn't say much so far about that country, so we're gonna see exactly how they do it here in the Fiji. Now, except that probably they export Fiji water or whatever they do, but how much that can save an economy and how much they can rely on that water. So far, yeah, just slowly loading, but it looks pretty nice, I have to say. I mean, just look at this. It looks like paradise. Even those houses, not ideal, and I don't like those bars here, whatever they have, that mesh. In Philippines, they say that it's from not get murder. But I hope it's not the case even here. But when we have humans around, it's always a risk, I would say. But it looks pretty nice in here. I mean, look at this. Just much better than the Eastern Europe, 100%. Look at this. The communities are pretty close together, but not that close. So now they intrude on everybody's space. That's nice. They have an airstrip here. So they receive, I would say, supplies by the air mostly. Probably is going to be the most reliable one. Yeah, I mean, probably it's gonna be tough to unite all of those. I mean, look at this house. That's not what you want to see. So yeah, that poverty, it's still there. It's not much you can say about that. But at least the yard, it's pretty decent. Hopefully that's an abandoned house, but I don't know. I can see something, a table there. Yeah, it doesn't look that well. But again, it's not that much that we saw so far, so just wait to see more. Now here we don't have a 360, but from the above you can see how those people actually live, so we are pretty close to each other. I would like to see more trees here, always gonna look better from what we saw so far. But it seems like on every island there's gonna be some small communities. I mean, it's gonna be hard, like how much business can you develop in every single one of those small islands? I mean, like besides tourism, to actually attract some money. I'm not sure, but clearly it cannot be everyone's success. Here, yeah, again, look at this, small communities everywhere, which it seems at first pretty nice. I mean, look, like you have the beach all day. Those guys, I don't think they have an airstrip, so they're gonna receive supplies by boat. Clearly the medical system is gonna be hard to reach in these regions. Here it looks like one of those man-made things, and they have like a few houses here, but probably like abandoned. Yeah, probably besides the main city on the island, the main island, it's gonna be probably even tougher to get anything related to a medical system on the let's say on the functioning line. Here it looks like there's nothing, no one lives here, but they are very nice. I mean, like how many hotels can you build and how many tourists can you attract? So see, even those paradise island can be accursed at some point. It's gonna be tough to develop anything here. Roads pretty much, yeah, just a dirt road. I mean, I kind of get it. It's such a nice place. It'd be kind of shame to put some tarmac here, but it's not that developed. But housing here looks a bit better. I mean, this one actually pretty nice. And judging by the solar panel, I would guess they don't have electric power on this island, so they only rely on those solar panels. I can imagine, let's say 20-25 years ago, when those pretty much were non-existent, and they have cars, by the way, so yeah. How they rely, I mean, just they live without an electricity. They just, for them, was never invented, that never existed. It's something. Now here it's a big more community, so, but again, I think I kind of get, like, such as a remote island, how you can actually make a like a small reactor, small generators. I mean, I can see the poverty it is here, judging by this guy, how he says here. So yeah, you might live in paradise, but it could be a double blade knife, I would say. Here on the other part of the island, probably the story is the same. I am amazed they have street views. Here, actually, no, it's better. Ooh, this is actually paradise. Look at this. They actually have tarmac, they have roads. This is from 2023, okay, so pretty recently. So clear here, much more developed. I'm looking for a house to see exactly how those look. Wow, they are very well hid, so probably I'm not gonna find any of those. There were some enters here, and probably that's the house, but I can't see it that well from this place. Here they seems to do a bit better on the other part of the island. Oh yeah, that's, now we're talking. So I assume it's more economic value here in this area for whatever reason. Yeah, look at this. Here it's like a bit more communities. Oh, we have stores, now we're talking. So, but still poverty, you can say. Now I don't like, oh, I thought it's garbage. No, so it's cool, it's cool. What cars they drive, well, are pretty old, so I'm not gonna say extremely expensive like we saw in other countries so far. Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it. It'll be like South Africa at some point, so that's the vibe that I'm getting here. So clearly a British colony. You can see that. I said in one video, I think British colony usually do better than the Spanish and Portuguese one. Clearly there are a few exceptions. I would say Fiji so far. We didn't see too much. We only got those remote islands, so we didn't see the main ones, the main population. Keep in mind, almost 1 million people. And they're gonna grow. I mean, look at this. They somehow still on the up trajectory. I imagine more in those. Oh, actually, it's pretty good here. I imagine more on those urbanized area. Well, they have an airstrip from what I can see. At least they trying, I guess, even with this road, to connect the communities between them with that airstrip right there, so they're gonna receive at least some supplies. And on the other part of the island, far away from that supply line, let's call it, they still have communities, I see here, and probably some dirt roads, as you can see here. So they are a bit more cut off, but they still exist here. If you look at this, they are still here. Even living in this one is actually a pretty big one. Look at this. But we don't have any 360 to actually check them. So yeah, definitely they have some roads, the dirt roads that connect them. I'm not sure if you can be able to see one, or maybe it's actually a tarmac road, who knows. But yeah, you can see clearly line, I would say, between those communities. Now again, I say it's paradise. Yeah, it looks like paradise. It's like a dream place to live, but the landscape and even the climate, which is probably, it's a nice warm one, you don't need to heat your home, I assume. I'm not sure. Even with all that advantages, it doesn't mean that you're gonna live in actually paradise. You can see the modern world still have a word to say about how you actually live your life, how is that a rooster, how involved you're gonna be in economics. I don't know why they gave me there, I just click in other way, so probably some Google glitch. So that's gonna show a lot. I mean, look at it. They have their own water. Clearly, we need to have some solar panels here because there's no way they're gonna have an energy company to supply them. I'm wondering what's happened here. It was like a flood or something. Looks pretty strange. So yeah, you have like these small communities, like I say, everywhere on those islands. So but still, look at it, still paradise, judging by the water. It is still probably all those pictures that we see from these places that just very well done in a very well environment, only in a few select area, I would say, because clearly you're not gonna see pictures, I would say, from those small communities when they don't have that much. But here, now it's not a great weather again. But here in those resorts, that's a different story. Even they are not one of those the best ones, still pretty decent. Pretty decent. Now I imagine it's gonna be like an, I wanna say easy business there, but like the one to go for. Now a bit more richer here, they have like much newer cars. So we're gonna see, probably we start with those small communities and now we go up to those more important ones, more main ones. The quality of those 360 not so well, but this is 2020, so exactly in the pandemic year, so probably was getting hit hard by the lockdowns in the West, so the tourist area wasn't that functional, let's say. But here, yeah, here I think that's the main island. I think the main island, it's still this one, and we're gonna check that. But see, even in those one, how and keep in mind, this is still 1 million people. I mean, it's quite significant, I would say, 1 million people to have. The roads here are pretty nice. It's gonna be the same story. There's gonna be poor people and rich people everywhere. More poor people because let's say in the last 100 years they exponentially multiply themselves, and now we have a huge surplus of humans. That's why they call it a human resource. They're just a resource like anything else, like livestock, pretty much. And now I think we're gonna start realizing, especially in the West, that even so far we didn't have, like I said, that meaningful jobs. There are just a few of them by nature. You cannot have that many, and just have to create, like I said, that's creating jobs just to keep people busy and give them as minimum possible, because there are so many. Just you have to share those very few monies, let's say, that they have in economies for those type of people. So by nature they're not gonna do well no matter what they're trying to do. But also I think we're gonna start realizing that even those jobs are start to disappear because of automation and let's say progress. And now they kind of realize that they are actually too many people. Nobody says out loud so far. So as long as I saw, I didn't know any politician that say, yes, we are too many, we have to drop the population, otherwise it's gonna be a total collapse. Nobody wants to say that. I guess the first person is gonna say that they're gonna lose votes, so nobody wants to be the first to say it. They have to lose a vote first and then, I guess, winning something. But yeah, I mean, this is nonsense. This is probably a much more rich area. I mean, they have boats and everything. Yeah. So I guess even in those small communities, I think you see it more vividly, more accurate when you see those small ones, that they still having people there, even like young one. They have a birth rate pretty healthy at 2, let's say. It's a replacement population, but there's not enough jobs, there's not enough businesses you can do, so can keep them, everybody, let's say, at least on a work based. I'm not sure exactly how I think we're gonna start to look at another metrics, which is unemployment rate. I'll be interesting to see that, because there's no way you can actually hire everyone. It's way too many people. And not mention, like I say, meaningful jobs, not even in the discussion. There is no way you can fix that. you need a drop in population extremely significant. I mean, like, I'm looking for the data, especially in Europe, not the European Union, the whole continent, including Russia for whatever reason, they include all the Russia. And they say the population starts to go down, but the population needs to go down more likely in the Western world, and they have to do something about migration to stop that. So that would be an interesting way. Like I say, the first one is gonna say population has to go down, they're gonna lose the election, and nobody wants to do that. But at some point, somebody will say it, just the way it is. Especially, like I said, with automation, they say they create other jobs, which is true. They create other jobs too, but most of them, they are meaningless, low paid. Maybe is that I would say a tool to just tell people, just hey, you just multiply yourself so much in the last few years. Stop doing that, otherwise we're gonna ruin everything and everyone. And I guess that's why. What did it show me there? We see people that some that choose to not have kids. Now here it looks like paradise. I mean, even I guess those people who go in this region gonna say, oh, I can live my entire life here, just so nice, so great. And they live there like, I don't know, a few months, and they, nah, I'm done with that. It's like it's too boring or all that stuff. So it kind of came and goes, I guess. But yeah, it looks like that. It looks like paradise, let's face it. That does not look that bad. So yeah, with the unemployment rate, we have to look at that. Oh, that's pretty nice. Look at this. I wish the 360 is gonna be a much better made, but it's pretty good so far. Unemployment rate is gonna be a good metrics to look at them, so I'm gonna include that probably in the next videos. And for now on, it's gonna be just one video per day. Hopefully we're gonna finish the entire world in the next 3 months. And like I said, then we're gonna move to more detail, like cities, and also we're gonna make US every single state, and also those big countries. I'm probably gonna split them in the regions to see exactly the difference between them. So there is a lot of work and a lot of videos in the future. So we're gonna have, like I say, a much better idea how those people actually live. Now here I believe is the main city. At least looks like that from above. So let's check them. Again, it's small economy. How much can you expect? This is from 2019, so even before the pandemic. That's a cemetery. What is that? Looks like that. Roads, not so bad actually. Again, the quality of these tricks is just kind of ruined the whole experience. Let me check another area. Here with the houses. Okay, let's see how those people actually live. Well, the road not so well here. Actually, the housing looks a bit strange. Here you have fences. You can see in that communities on those islands you don't have fences, and it looks much better. But now here just people wants to, that's my property, that's like very possessive, that's mine, you should never step on that. So clearly a bit more rich, they can afford fences. But yeah, it does not make a look picture, let's say like that. So see, when people actually choose to live together in much more communities, this guy has a pool here. Whoa, this guy is rich. And I think that the architecture take a toll. I mean, look at this, just it doesn't look that well compared with what we saw, especially in the countryside, let's call it like that. Even like we saw the same in Papua New Guinea. They were much pleasant places to live outside the cities, on the main urban centers, let's call it like that, because it's not much there. Here it looks like a neighborhood for rich people. So you can see oh my god, watch this. So here is the rich one. Road, spot on. They have which is a nice urban area, nice urban code, I would say. Look at this, they have the road. Now they have this section that we can pull over if you have a car trouble or something like that. And then you have a tree line of vegetation, so you cannot see actually the houses there. So it's very private, which I like that, I have to say. But you don't see that in poor neighborhoods, see? So only in those rich ones, and this is clearly community gated because nobody came there. We can, if I go here, it's gonna be like a gate or something. Yeah, it's gonna be something that's gonna not allow you to see it. Clearly from above you can identify that it is a rich neighborhood, just the way it is. This one, the same story. So clearly a house here is gonna be like probably millions of dollars or euros, depends which you count. So I think maybe even some locals, like I say, always say, like they can do, they're always gonna be people, rich people and poor people wherever you go. So there has to be some locals there. They doing pretty well, but I guess most of them, they are used as a vacation house for those people in the west, from the rich one. So yeah, clearly this area, it's a much better, it's a way different story than we saw in the regular ones. I mean, when the regular people live. So clearly this one, look at this, even on the beach, it could be some resorts here, but most likely it's gonna be like even some individual houses. This one definitely it's a resort. I mean, there is no doubt about that. Let's check this one. But some of them, they could be private real estate. Hopefully this one is gonna work to give us a better picture. That's pretty nice. I like it. It's like a golf course. Those, it could be like I say residential private areas. I'm not sure exactly, but same people, same country, same area, same timeline, way different lives. So this is how they have a golf course here. Here definitely are from renting. Those resorts 100% are from renting. I mean, let's check this one. Look how they just from above you can see how they build. Yeah, they are from renting. This is the rich area, I would say. I have no idea what's happening here, so probably somebody bought all those land at some point, and pretty soon it's gonna be like, if the markets allow it, it's gonna be again a continuity of those resorts. But this is how those rich one here, let's see, like the average guy, a much different story. See, much different story here. Now, like I say, always gonna be, yeah, this one doesn't even work. Always gonna be like rich people and poor people, no matter where you go, no matter what timeline you do. So that's a human nature way. Can you blame on the overpopulation at some point? I would guess yeah, but I think it's a bit too soon for that in this area, because clearly those houses need a lot of materials and expensive one to get built. So the native population, in their economy, I guess they're never gonna afford that. Now, how to fix that? Well, oh, that's a nice car. One of them, again, its materials have to be cheaper to use, legislation, all that nonsense stuff. Another way, especially here in the West, I'm not sure how here in Fiji works. Somebody says, and kind of stuck with me, you don't buy the house, you only buy the location. So you buy like a house that costs 3 million US dollars or 3 million euros, and you have like a pretty much a shitty house, a container house, but you didn't buy it for the house, you buy it for the land. So this is how it works here. And I guess, I hope here is gonna be a bit different. Now here, look at this, not so rich area compared with what we saw, but still looking pretty good. I mean, it's gonna be like rich area for native population, let's call it like that. See, house well spread. At least that should be the minimum. Something like this should be the minimum. This is from 2020, but that looks like a minimum. You have a decent roads, decent land between houses, and just we need to work on the houses market to make it actually pretty nice. Now this is an airstrip. I would say it's kind of close to the houses, but some people enjoy that. But clearly you can see a difference between those expensive ones and those more poor population, let's call it like that. And they are, keep in mind, just 1 million people, so not that many, but the economic environment here doesn't allow it, I guess, for more than that. But keep in mind, they have some corruption too, so you could work on that, but it's not gonna be like they're gonna make miracles from that one. And also keep in mind that 1955, 340,000 people, so they multiplied the server by a factor of 3. So that is gonna take a toll also. Well, I say probably in the future. Right now, like I said, it's kind of hard to have this discussion because we can have the argument like, yeah, but we have more people now than we have before, and we have so much wealth, so much improvement in technology and all that stuff. Now, I have to say, for those small communities, I don't know anyone who invented something that was from Fiji. Now, I could be wrong. All that stuff, that's pretty much available from all other countries. But you can say that the stuff for those resorts hopefully are coming from the native population, and they are gonna get some decent pay wages, but kind of highly doubt that, judging by the fact that I guess those resorts are made by the Western people or based on the Western model. So then the capitalist model, the Western model, doesn't allow for good wages usually, especially for the low entry-level jobs. They just always look for efficiency and cut cost as much as possible. And if you don't want to work for a minimum wage or something less than that, they're gonna replace you with cheap labor from countries nearby and even from the other side of the world. People that are willing to work for less and more than you do. So yeah, that's kind of the Western model, I would say, and create a lot of wealth for very few of those. Now, how that is going to be in the future, we're going to see. But I think the first step is going to be like lowering the population, and from there, it's already happening. So it's not like we have to go active on that crusade. We're gonna see where we're gonna land with that and how pro and cons that is gonna have, but it's happening just the way it is. And clearly those are tourists here. This is a nice resort area. Ideally it would be like, hey, if you can build so many resorts, you can build so many houses, but those houses from the native population is not gonna bring income. Those ones are gonna bring some income. And it's already tough to just, like I say, make people work together, which I don't believe people are what was made. We are not made to live together no matter how much we try, but we need to give it a shot, I guess. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough choice. So usually even those people in power, they're gonna take the shortcut. Like, hey, you're not gonna fix everything the way you do, and if you don't reach that level, anything will be like pointless, everything you work for. So they kind of go for the, okay, we're going for the good life for ourselves, and the other people just figure it out from themselves. Now here is pretty nice, like this waterfall. I have no idea why nobody's in the water, because I'll be right there immediately. It is like a nice country, nice place, like landscape wise, and this is the main island. Keep in mind something happened here pretty interesting, because they're a bit more main 360s. I would say that from the main island perspective, when you have all those people probably working, most of them I would say, in a service industry. I mean, we didn't check that, where the economic architecture agriculture 44%. Wow, services just 41 and the industry 14. A lot of agriculture here. So wow, that was surprise. What exactly they grow here? Usually in agriculture areas, the salaries are not that high as they are in services, not even in industry, I think. Wow, this is a huge city here. Yeah, pretty much you get split in two in those countries. Those who have something that they work on the main island and in those industries, services, whatever they choose to do, and those living on those remote ones, which is have to pretty much figure it out from themselves. This is how it's see it from above, from outside. Now, again, I highly doubt that someone from Fiji is gonna watch this video, but if you do, just tell us exactly how things are there. Probably you're gonna watch it from the main island or a big city, big urban area, not from those small ones because they don't even have electricity there. So I highly doubt that they even have internet. And if they have that, probably it's gonna be very expensive. I cannot afford it. Again, like any other country, you can see good neighborhoods and bad ones. This is on the Fiji main island. Wow, it could be actually this one. Could be the main city. Looks much more populated, much more jammed together, which is actually even worse. Yeah, it doesn't look wow. And keep in mind, all those islands host 1 million people, plus whatever the tourists they have in that specific time on the island. So they don't have windows on those buses. Just you just stay there, like just the wind just come in. I guess it's gonna be a pretty nice first experience, but what's happened if, like I say, it's a bad weather? Just cover them with that curtain. Oh yeah, they don't have windows on the buses here. I mean, like I say, it's pretty interesting from the Western perspective, but still. What happens if you have an accident and somebody just fly over on the window? Phew, yeah, a lot of houses here. What is the capital again? We didn't fix that, so I guess it's Suva. So that's the main city. It's the capital, yeah, so not that one that we saw earlier. This is the main city. It looks jammed together, so yeah, I believe that. I do not contest that. Even from above, the houses look a bit spread. It still looks way too jammed together, even in these remote areas, let's call it like that. Here it's just really jammed together, but it's still better than an apartment. I mean, and they are pretty decent houses. I mean, especially in this one, not so bad. Those fences kind of bothers me. Again, I don't see the point of this one. Probably again, they have some crime rate, I would say. In the economic index, can we find the unemployment rate? Government debt 48%. Yeah, pretty good. Can we see unemployment rate? Labor force, industry. I don't see it. But let me check very fast. Unemployment rate for Fiji. Rate Fiji. I guess it's gonna be high, but I don't know exactly. Oh, not that high actually. So on Fiji unemployment rate in 2022, Fiji unemployment for 21 was 4.6%. Actually, it's pretty good. So yeah, I was wrong. So pretty good unemployment rate. I would say anything under 5%. It's considering, from my understanding, decent. Not obviously ideal, but pretty decent. Well, still the GDP doesn't allow it for too much, I would say, growth. But those people living in those areas, they seems to do pretty well. So again, and judging by that, how many choose to migrate outside? Wow, look at this, how bad this it is. I guess that a lot of them just working overseas, so, and they bring some money back. Yeah, it doesn't look like a country that they have like, I don't know, 5,000 was nominal US dollar per capita, so it looks like much more than that. But and probably the main population, look at this, it's gonna be in those main two cities, I would say, this one and that one. That one actually looks bigger, but now it's just more spread out. And this one, the same story. Yeah, the remote islands looks much better. Here's some garbage, which I don't like it. Much better from the urban perspective and how much land you have, but it's gonna come with the cost, which is gonna be the economic one. I mean, this one here, yeah, this one is a resort, so it doesn't count now. See, fortunately we cannot see it that well because Google just very slow loading those 360s for whatever reason. Let me check again. I mean, those small communities like this one. I would say in the urbanization here, it's a bit better. Maybe here it's again a resort. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, it probably is like a resort. It's too close to the beach. But we saw earlier how those people actually live in those small communities. Oh, we have one here. Let me check this one. So yeah, I tend to favorize those one because it kind of feels a bit nicer. I think we start with this one. Yeah, but clearly you need to have access, like I said, to running water, sewage, electricity, internet, roads, medical system, all that stuff. So for that you need to kind of jam in together everyone. Just everyone is gonna live in those not so welcoming area, but it's still much better than other countries. I mean, I can imagine East Prussia. Should go back to Vladivostok so we see exactly how those people. It's not like this, so it's gonna be paradise for them here. Now, it could be better. Yeah, definitely could be better, but also it's not exactly so bad. I have to say that too. But I don't believe in that 5,000 per capita. Just it feels like much more than that. Again, especially for those people, and it's gonna be like the main population is gonna live in those cities. So yeah. On the remote islands, I don't think there are that many. They are spread them around, but not a huge amount of population there. The roads look pretty good. Some British influence. Well, British influence. Let's see. It could be. Judging by how jammed live together here. At least, like I said, I don't see it so far on apartment buildings. Or maybe they have a few, but not that many. They have most likely most of them individual housing, which is good. It's a huge step forward. Just I think it's an extremely important phase that just don't allow it to get built. Those nonsense. Those are again for rich people. I would say, let's check this one, but I'm not sure. It looks like that from above. Or a bit just more richer than the average guys. Oh, they have an apartment building. I mean, look at this one. So at least they have one. You say, fuck it, we're gonna build one. But most of the houses, yeah, I see it in the individual houses, which is pretty good. Pretty nice. Clearly not the worst place to live. Not the best also, but clearly I don't see that 5,000 GDP per capita. There is no way. There is no way. Yeah, so I think Fiji, it is pretty good so far. I kind of like it. I like it more, the Papua New Guinea, and that was even poorer per GDP. Here, yeah, if you live in those remote islands, you're gonna have to adjust your life to make it different, let's call it like that. If you live on the main islands, you're gonna have pretty much a basic one like the rest of us, just in a nicer place than the, let's call it Eastern Europe. But if you live on those remote islands and you have those nice landscape, decent terrain, I mean, like, look at this. Who wants to see this on the beach? Come on. Yeah, if you live in those remote islands, you have to adjust your life to your environment pretty much, and somehow find a way to improve little by little every day, and maybe some government help to at least have the basic needs for you. And I think for those living on those, like I say, main island, main cities, it's pretty much straightforward. Just you have to work, go back, go home, work again, and all that stuff. So pretty basic from the Western perspective. Who lives better, the one on the islands with main cities, or the one with islands on the remote areas? Well, right now I would say still these people on the main islands, the main cities. because they're gonna have access to much more comfort, let's call it like that. But there is a way to succeed even on those small ones. They already start very well with, like, let's call it cheap housing. Already have a house, don't pay rent. I guess they don't have to do all that. They have to adjust the life, and clearly they have to attract some funds somehow. Ideally for them would be good education, and try to stay away as much as possible from this tourist industry. They already, I guess, they are pretty overdone it there. So you have to come with something new to produce, to improve in economy, to participate in that. I guess this is my way. So probably the easy way is going to be, we're going to go with tourist area. Yeah, but a lot of people do the same thing, and probably it's going to need another money to start huge funds, so you don't have that. That's how I believe it. Even those people who living outside, they should go outside the country, I would say, for education and for network, so they can attract funds and came to those, even those small islands, even those small one. I guess probably the main one is going to be a much easier choice, but small ones still need some improvement also. Came on this one back home and apply what they learned there and develop new industries, I would say. Because even the tourist industry, you can see in the pandemic how easy it's just to pretty much shut down the whole transportation network of the world, and those countries that rely heavily on the tourist, they're gonna feel that pain immediately. So yeah, again, I could be wrong, but this is how I see the things here. I will not go for the obviously shot, which is gonna be like tourist area. I would try to do something a bit different, but still relatable to the place you live, and again, attract some funding somehow. It's easier to say than done, but somebody, I guess, has to start. Even you fail, you don't have to succeed from the first time. That would be insane. Those people, look at it, looks pretty nice in here. Clearly they have some nice, they have some nice communities here. The houses we can see not so well. They're living in the paradise on the planet, yes, landscape wise. Anything else, it's still like 300 years ago mostly from the rest of the world. So yeah, if they live, let's say 300 years ago, yeah, probably this is gonna be like paradise, because hey, why you want to live in Eastern Europe, let's call it like that, and have let's say heavy winters and a lot of people dying from hunger there, when you can live here in a nice warm climate with banana trees and coconuts and fishing and all that good stuff, with not that much pollution back then, especially 300 years ago. But now things are changing and they have to adapt, I guess, to the new world. Also a trap, it would be real estate market. I would say that would be also a trap. But like I say, it's hard to just make something new from the ground up, and not going for the obviously shot, I would say. So yeah, that would be like, for the guy who living in remote areas like this, the best thing for you is gonna be like education, 100%. That would be like the best way to do it. And I'm not sure exactly how the government governs those small islands, and they have a mayor or whatever they have there, let's say city council, stuff like that. Can you participate to that and say, we are like 5 young people here, we need to send them to school, we need to send them to education, high education, even on the main island or outside abroad for whatever reason, to have some national program or stuff like that. Otherwise, I don't see how you can escape. Not poverty, again, it is poverty, it's kind of a tough word to say it, but they always gonna have a shot at doing better, I would say. But you need to be active and engage in the role, not just waiting from outside power, let's say like that, coming and give you stuff for free and all that stuff. So yeah, that would be like a way to improve, I would say. Well, that was the video for today. Tomorrow we're gonna do another one. We're gonna see other islands. Like I said, we're gonna remain in the region and check as many as we can in this area. So then after we finish Oceania, we're gonna move back to South America and finish there everything. Let me check the map real quickly. This is the map, I have it here with the countries already done, so we can see it's pretty much all, like I said, Asia is done 100%. We are done with Asia. Now we move into those islands in Oceania, then South America. I guess we're gonna finish that too, on everything that remains there, and then Africa, and then back home to Europe, so we can actually finish all those countries. And then I want to go back to those videos that I made before. I added especially those how people live in Google Street View and 360s in the area, so you actually can check. I mean, like, I didn't make one in Germany. I think I don't remember making one in which one it was, Spain. I don't remember making those. Even France, I don't remember. England also. So we have to see exactly how those people live. So I'm gonna remake those videos at some point. Like I said, then I want to make like every state of United States, and then we're gonna go like, I don't know, cities. There's, like I said, there is a lot of video to be made, and it's gonna be hopefully getting more interesting on this channel with every single month, with every single video that I post. So interaction is a main factor here. Comments and supporting, that's extremely important for me. Hopefully with time they're gonna get more active, but also I realize that those videos are very long and the watching time is extremely low. It's like 1 minute at some point from the 1 hour video. So yeah, that's not gonna get me anywhere, but hopefully with time we're gonna gather some loyal, let's see, viewers that's gonna support the channel. And like I say, this channel could go either way. And right now the main job is to make every single country a video, see exactly how those people live, and like I said, I'm gonna add from now unemployment rate. I think it's relevant for the country, and also economic, obviously. So we're gonna see how those people doing there. Yeah, obviously those data is gonna change. I mean, like, you make country, all the planet this year, let's say, and in the next 2, 3, 5 years, it's gonna be a whole different story. So at some point, if this channel is doing well, I have to go back again and make all the countries, see what's changed. That would be interesting to see. This map, I'm gonna keep it because the population, especially in the Western world, is gonna drop, and I believe I take those 10 million people based on the fact that there are a few countries in Europe that have less than that. Here in Asia, you can see not that many. We're gonna see how in Africa is doing and how in South America, but probably in Europe in the next 5 years, 10 years, you're gonna see more country with less than 1 million people, so then 10 million people. So that would be interesting to see also how population evolves. Like I say, there's already a trend in the Western world of going down in population. The only one that they keep them up or stable at the same number, let's call it like that, it's not exactly stable, you're still losing native population. It's going to be migration. With new policy that we see here in the Europe, at least, the migration seems to have their days counted, especially from outside the Western world, I would say. So that's going to be an interesting way to see how things are going, in which direction, but there is going to be a long way in the future. So for now, you have to make all the countries, you have to make states of the United States, you have to make cities, you have to make, and which knows what idea I'm gonna have in the next, I don't know, few months, years, depends how where this channel is gonna go. So yeah, check the other videos if you want to support the channel, like videos, subscribe to them, comment to them, especially if I make a video about your country, just comment on that video, say your opinion, or you can comment on other countries. How did you expect to before you see the video, and how it is after you saw the video, and all that stuff. So yeah, see you tomorrow with the next video.